afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Let's talk with Kay. Welcome to my channel. Today is December the 27th, Friday. I just left the gym, and I think I'm really proud of myself. Because normally I get bored when I'm in the gym. I like to run, but I hate to run on a treadmill because I just, for some reason, I'm not sure if it's an ADHD thing or just bored, because some people can do it. I just can't. I like to run in nature. It's more satisfying. It's more like therapeutic. It seems like I can meditate while I'm running in nature, whether it's like running around a block, in a city. Or when I was living in Tennessee, we had like a nature type of trail, which was amazing, right? Like less than a block away from my old home in Clarksville, Tennessee. I can just walk down the street, not far, like a little bit around my block or two, my little neighborhood. And Clarksville is kind of country, just to kind of give you an idea of, the scenery. And then next thing you know, you see like a big old entrance that say, basically let you know you're gonna walk onto like some type of trail or whatever. And so you can run, you're gonna go like under the trees, go across a bridge. Like I think a bridge goes over like some little river or whatever. It's like, and I ain't talking about no little bridge, like it's a little cutesy bridge that's like a huge bridge. And I'm like, it's like going, I'm not sure if you read these books, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's kind of remind me something that magical, just, it sounds kind of corny or whatever. It just kind of sounds magical. You just go from a little area to just, in this little area, from one area, like a little neighborhood, to like a little, or not even a little, that's just kind of minimizing it, to this wooded, hiking, running trail. That's what I miss about Tennessee. And what's so great is I'm going back next week. I'm going to be celebrating my birthday in Nashville, Tennessee. I may end up driving to Clarksville just to go to that trail and maybe do a run or something. I really love it, really enjoyed it. Is it perfect? No. I feel like it still has some type of racism or whatever, because it was really hard for me to get a decent job. And one of my last jobs when I was there, you can just tell that the racism was obvious. When I will get into that later. When I do a video about jobs and how, I guess, working in corporate America, basically corporate America is for narcissists. Get ready for 2025. We are living in the age of Aquarius, meaning that the age of Pisces is heading out, or is particularly gone. The systems are tearing apart. And what I mean by the systems as far as entertainment, as far as religion, as far as government, as far as maybe even corporations as we know it. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about is religion. I'm hearing somebody like, okay, what's going on out there? You kind of loud in the next car. But anyways, I'm going to talk about religion. I'm not a Christian. I fully stepped foot out of Christianity since 2023. I totally cut it off. Before then, I had my foot in Christianity and the other foot out of it. I stopped believing in a lot of things because it was too much contradiction. And I know people give religion, especially Christianity. I'm not sure about other religions, but they all, I will say at least the main three, Christianity, Judaism, and I guess Islam, they all Abrahamic religions, and they have I feel like they're sister religions, whether they want to believe it or not. And I believe religion is a mechanism of control, to control the masses, to keep them to keep them blind, to keep them, or at least the members, from understanding their power. And obviously you can tell, because it seemed like these past couple of decades, in my opinion, it seemed like people in America, at least, I don't know about other countries, but I definitely know in America, just like zombies, the Walking Dead. It's like they don't have no power. They probably say, yeah, we pray to God, but at the same time, look what's going on in the country right now. It's like you're not doing anything. It's a collective. Homelessness is horrible. It seems like all I hear is complaining. Oh, I don't like the politics. Oh, the Republicans. Oh, the Democrats. I can't really do nothing. Oh, I gotta go on this job. I hope I get recognized. I'm praying to God that... I'm like, dude, you got power to make moves. You're in a slumber. You are in a spell. You are in the spell that was cast during the Piscean age. You think you worshiping Jesus. If you're a Christian, you're not worshiping Jesus. Jesus is a made-up name for the actual man who's called Yeshua. Yeshua wasn't calling himself a God. I don't even think... Well, in the Bible, yeah, they said if you believe in him and all this type of stuff, but the actual person, which is based on historic documents, is not God. Yeshua is like pretty much a master spiritualist, basically. People are like, well, it said, the Bible said that he was born in a virgin birth. I'm like, yeah, but when you really think about it, I know I'm not like slowing down because I doubt it, but I'm gonna put it this way. In the Bible say the man of the seed, woman came from man. It's not like man ruled the roost. You don't hear nothing about a mother. You don't hear nothing about an auntie or anything like that. It's like, and then women are represented as these kind of harlots, these promiscuous women. It's like women are just oppressed when it comes to religion. But as far as the man being the seed, yeah, we need the man sperm to bore a baby or whatever. But there has been scientific research, and it has been proven that women back in the days, thousands and thousands of years ago, and I think it happened recently, to be honest, but I'm not sure about that. I will say do y'all Google research that women have bore children without the man's quote-unquote seed. That's patriarchy. And I would say patriarchy is basically rooted from religion, and patriarchy is doing a number on us in America, in other countries, basically in the world. It's in chaos. It's in shambles. It is going to pieces. But one thing I can say about religion, though, especially Christianity, because I was a Christian. I don't know about the cultures within other religions. I just know about Christianity because I wasn't born in Christianity, but I started going to church forcibly when I was like 10 years old, and got out for a while, went back in, and then kind of just like, I was a, I don't know the name, but a warm Christian. I wasn't a true Christian. I was just trying to go there just to keep myself from going to hell, basically, because that's the fear they put in. That's the fear they put into everybody in Christianity. But I guess because a lot of these mega churches understand that preaching about hell all the time keeps people from going to church, I think a lot of them stop preaching about hell so they can go ahead and get that collection, get that offering. Because when I went to a big church in Nashville, I don't remember any time hell was really being preached, to be honest. So, hey, because I'm not going to go to church. If somebody tell me I'm going to go to hell when I was going to church, I'm like, it's time to go ahead and leave, because I'm like, dude, I'm already in hell going to these jobs, being abused, being attacked, and then I'm going to go to church and hear more about hell and make me feel more fearful. Hell to the no. And then they got the nerves, especially smaller churches who preach on hell a lot. They got the nerve talking about, well, oh, excuse me. See, it won't be normal without my phone falling from the phone. I mean, from the thing. But anyways, they like, well, they don't want to get right. They don't want to get right. I'm like, damn, I'm depressed. So I feel like once I became spiritual, which is a lifestyle, it's not a religion. Being spiritual, I feel like being spiritual takes more work than Christianity. I feel Christianity is like a really lazy religion, because it's like, for example, I can go around and be like, oh, I need a better job, instead of really putting some effort into, I'm not saying each and every Christian, but at the same time, most Christians, and you can look at this in the black community when you're looking at Christianity, and a lot of Christians, you see a lot of churches in these poor black communities, and it's like, dude, nothing going on. I only remember one time that my church, my childhood church, actually did something for the community when I suggested it. That's not a brag. It's just I suggested it as a teenager. Hey, let's go out to a like visit a old folks home, or just do something, give gifts or whatever. That was like one of the best times I had at that church. And I'm not sure if I got the credit. I wasn't even thinking about whether I got the credit for it at church or not. But that's what happened. And I don't remember doing anything before then. And I don't remember it happened. It never happened after that again. But I could say only time that church members in that church did something. Lord, I'm just driving. Did something. I'm gonna go to I know I got some other errands to do, so I'm probably just gonna go to a park or whatever, so I can get this video done. But the only thing that really happened, I'm gonna go this way, is the fact that excuse me, is the only, how should I put it? The only charity that was done from my members of church was continue giving our pastor and his wife money on anniversaries and things of that nature, which to me is like, you pretty much, the pastors, whenever they have sermons like that, I know they say, well, it's tradition. To me, it's more like you placing yourself in a God type of position, because just because you try to tell people to come to church, be saved and all that type of stuff, why you need an award for that? And then especially when I was going to church as a kid, I'm like, dude, why in the world? I'm basically living in an impoverished home, but we giving our last to a pastor who's able to send all his kids to college. And I'm not sure whether they kids have loans or not, but I remember one time when I had a conversation with my mom. She picked me up. I think she felt like she had to, because she was using my car at the time to take me to work when I was working during the summertime. And I was like a freshman or a sophomore. Didn't have no money, living off of loans and credit cards. Didn't have no support from her, even though that she was going to get like some type of settlement from the divorce, and that she tried to keep a secret, but she should have known that her motor-mouth daughter, youngest daughter, the golden child, was going to tell me. Anyway, let me pause for a second. Okay, I'm back. Had to answer my daughter's phone calls. I didn't know they had a little park swings and all that type of stuff here. I'm like, I'm scared I might be cold. I'm like, I will go outside and talk. Oh my God, we live in the Southwest when it's no snow. When a kid is going on a hill, sliding down on a little prototype sled, I guess the dead leaves on the ground, giving that kid propulsion, I might sit down. Let me see how cold it is. Let me get out for a second. Dang, I hope y'all can see me very well. Sun is kind of bright. But one thing I must say is, I was just like, I wasn't for that. All this stuff was just weird. Only thing, when I was young, the only thing I got out of church was just going to church every day. I mean, I went to a Kojic church, Church of God in Christ, and for the longest, I always thought it was like a cult. But I think I was almost right. I think all churches are similar. I think some people need church. I don't have nothing against Christians, but I have something against religion. And I would say that being a spiritualist, I feel like it's more work into that. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It makes you more accountable to your actions. It makes you accountable to what you eat, how you dress. When I say how you dress, I don't mean, oh, don't go out there looking like a scalawag if you're a woman, or don't go out there having your pants hanging down and all that stuff if you're a man. But basically, it just kind of makes you be more introspective on consumerism, what type of clothes you wearing, as far as, are you like buying, is your closet full of fast fashion? And I'm a reseller, and it's like fast fashion, even though it's cheap, it's really worthless, because I see a whole lot of that at Goodwills and, different buy sell trade stores. It's like worthless, and if I couldn't even sell it, it's like nobody want it on the resale market unless it just fits a certain aesthetic, and if it did, I couldn't sell it for a whole lot. So it makes you mindful of how you take care of yourself, how you take care of your body, what foods you put in. It makes you more aware of what's going on around the world, not really necessarily by news, like watching the news and things like that, because news ain't nothing but a conduit of fear. But and that stuff gets in your subconscious. But more about how should I put it? Like, if you're on not social media, but if you like watch YouTube a lot, for example, and you learn certain, like, what's going on in the world or whatever, then it kind of makes you more aware, makes you more concerned. But at the same time, I think I kind of lost my train of thought. But basically, it's more work as a spiritualist than people say, yeah, it's work as far as being a Christian. I like, what is it? Well, I go to church on Sundays. I may go to church on Wednesdays. I go to church, depending on what church you go to, I go to church every week, every day of the week. If we having all these different type of, what they call it, I forgot, I ain't been in church in so long. I have to pay my tithes, I have to pay my offering. And when people really do all that stuff, to me, a lot of times, and I look at my own community, in the Black community, it's like, it's like, you can look at people's lives, and their lives are not reflecting, and it still got that sense of victimhood. I'm a victim. I have to be on welfare. I have to do this because I'm a victim. And it's like, I have to have this job. I can't really do this. It's just like, well, I'm Black, and because I'm that, and I'm like, I have news for you. It's many people that's spiritual. I'm gonna just use spiritualism as a whole, not only just for Black people, but white people and just different cultures. It's like, a lot of us are doing well. People can say, no, you're not doing well. I'm like, yeah, we are, and I'm doing very well. And then the thing is, with religion, I feel like I said before, probably in my previous videos, if not, we live in an upside down. The world is the upside down. Whatever you thought that was a truth is a lie. Whatever you believe, it's like, it's more toxic than it represents. And I will use religion. I will use the Christian church. I will kind of go back on examples of how I was growing up. Okay. And I would tag this in narcissism as well, because I feel like the church is like a narcissistic person's favorite place to be, because it's like, it basically teaches against boundaries. A narcissist doesn't believe in boundaries. It produces egotism, like I mentioned earlier about, and especially, I'm not sure about other churches, but I know in the black church, the pastor and his wife, it seemed like we always have these special events for the pastor and his wife, which I feel like is nothing but ego. And spirituality, it's a spiritualist. When I say spiritualist, I mean we believe in a higher power. We believe that it's a creator, but we don't believe that the creator has to be worshipped. We don't believe that we believe that the creator does love us. We believe that the creator we are on this earth to learn a lesson, to learn a journey. I know everything's perfect. I can't explain everything right now because in a sense I am new to this, but at the same time I feel like I have been living a spiritual life without even saying it was a spiritual life. But I feel like after my spiritual awakening in 2023, I have a more greater understanding of what it is. So I would say that in a sense, when you become when you go through your spiritual awakening, you go through a ego death. Meaning, I would say that ego death is necessary to help enlighten you in a sense. And for example, I would say my ego death involved, I would say part of my ego was my career, wanting to move up in a career, wanting to have the trappings of the career. Use that title as something that was that made me in my career. And I would say towards the end of my career, I was an accountant. I worked when I was in the government. I worked as I went all the way up to, I think GS12. Yeah, GS12. I went up all the way up to a GS12, and then things happened with that involved a lawsuit and all that. So I had to leave that job, and that whole process happened. And then I worked as a senior auditor, senior accountant for a public law firm here in town. And things happened with that. And mind you, not saying that I was an awful accountant. I was a great accountant, but I believe that there is a spiritual warfare, and like I'm gonna put out a video basically saying that corporate America is perfect for narcissists. Okay, I'm back. So I will say all this in bullet points. How should I put this? I will say the reasons why you need to work on becoming spiritual, get out of religion, because 2025 I feel like 2025 is gonna be a tough year. Things are gonna change. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care, because at the end of the day, whoever was in the office, it's still not gonna be easy. And then I look at how things are, especially in my city right now. And I live in a Democratic city. I'm like, dude, things are kind of fucked up. We got all these homeless people. We got the people racing their cars, running the city. Because I won't get into that, but I'm like, dude, the stores are closed early, and because I guess the crime or whatever. And I live in a small city. I'm like, dude, I could live in a big city and be out all night long, and crime is still criming. So, but anyways, I will say people need to be prepared, and because one, people are gonna start hearing stories about their favorite pastors. They already give you a smidget of it when it came to TD Jakes, and it's really sad, because I feel like especially a lot of people in these churches are kind of like sheeple, because it kind of pissed me off when I guess that Pastor Creflo Dollar asking about it's all manipulation, asking his congregation to basically donate all this money so he can get him a private jet. I'm like, no, Buster, you can go riding a plane, getting economy, getting first class. but I need a private jet just to help and spread the gospel. If you want to do that, you go on this YouTube and you can talk to the people just like I'm doing right now. It's free. It's immediately. It's cost zero travel. But people will sit there and fight you, which is a lot of it is cognitive dissonance. Anyway, well, I gotta bless my pastor. I'm like, dude, it's like the biggest con. And you're gonna start seeing more and more of it. Right now, you're starting to see slowly in the entertainment industry. It's starting off with people, they're little puppets, and it's gonna keep going down. And honestly, I will go into my story. I don't watch TV. I would say out of my whole day, on average, each day, I probably watch, I ain't gonna say probably, I watch 0% TV. And if I do watch TV, it's probably on Discovery Channel, Discovery Plus channel. I'll probably watch my 2 little favorite shows that's on currently, and that's it. So I would say I watch 2 hours of TV in a week. I don't watch news. I watch a little news. And if I do, it's locally. I would say that's very rare. And the only time I watch it if I'm led to. What else? Social media. I have Facebook and Instagram for my business, which I don't use. I might change that this coming year just to kind of help with marketing and grow my business. That's it. Twitter. I was on Twitter a while ago. I had a couple of viral, and I was on Twitter. I always had a Twitter account, but I started posting in things on Twitter like during the pandemic, and I was on there for like a year, and I was growing. I started getting some type of viral clips or whatever, and I'm not on Twitter no more. I don't have an account. If you see it, I do have an account. I ain't gonna lie, I do have an account, and I don't be on it. I'm on TikTok. I got a couple of little clips on TikTok, and I probably use that more for my business, or probably get more people onto my YouTube. But as far as viewership, I don't really be on social media like that. It's like, I would say probably 0.10% of my time every day. But other than that, so I would say YouTube is pretty much my source of what's going on in the world without the manipulation of the news and all that type of stuff. But anyways, as far as religion, I would say how religion keeps you, I would say how the teachings of religions, particularly Christianity, is toxic. Number one, religion basically tells you that you have to be in a community. You basically encourage you to be married, encourages you to stick to your family. I would say that's bullshit. People say, why? I would say if you live in a toxic family, first of all, you don't want to be around them suckers, especially if they're being abusive to you. They're not bringing you any support. They're not pouring love to you or anything like that. If you have siblings, they're gossiping about you, this and that, in a toxic family. So why would you want to be around that? It just makes you feel less than. It makes you feel bad. And a lot of times it leads you into other abusive relationships. You need to be in a community. And when a lot of churches say that, they mainly say you need to be in a community, different type of groups in church, this, that, and the other. And basically, I feel like that's another way of, hey, to keep you, like they say, handlers in the industry. People got different handlers. I feel like, in a sense, that's another type of handling. And like if I feel like I'm forced to have to be in a certain group, I don't like that. I don't like to have forced friendships on me or anything like that. If I want to be your friend, I'll be your friend. If I don't, I'm not going to fuck with you. I don't want to be too loud cussing at a kids-friendly park. But anyways, I'm like, I don't want to be in no group. I don't want to feel obligated. I feel like that's hinging on my free will. And I feel like when I think of community, instead of the groups in church, when I think of community, I think of, excuse me if I'm seeing me slobber, I'm trying to take this jacket off. It's getting on my nerve. It's getting hot. But anyways, I feel like community. And also what they mean too is going to church, especially, it depends on what type of church you went to. When I was a kid, I went to a small church. It never grew. It's like people went in and out like osmosis, and it just never grew. And they didn't do anything for the community. We got a big old church, but nobody is in it. Excuse me. So I'm like, community to me is volunteering. Volunteering at your homeless shelter, volunteering at the animal shelter, donating clothes, stuff that you don't have, to a domestic violence shelter. If you have issues in your community, attend council meetings and things like that, because you're showing concern about your community. If you have a small business, if in this one you want it to grow or whatever, hire people within your community. That's how I see community. Building up, being a part of your community. You know, clean up your community, clean up your part, help protect your community. That's what I look at it. You don't have to be forced into different groups in your church in order to be in community. You do that yourself. That's why I say spirituality is more work. It seemed like, yeah, I can go to school. For example, I'm a kid. I have to go to school, for example, this and that and the other. It's just something I have to do. That's kind of how I feel like when you go to church. It's like something I have to do versus something that I'm passionate about. This is a lifestyle. Because I know a whole bunch of hellions and demons that went to church. I knew a whole lot of hellions and demons that had leadership roles in churches. And people say, no, if I really want to, I can put a video out and give some real life examples. But anyways, that another thing is, like I think I mentioned this earlier, giving to the pastor, giving to the wife, all these freaking anniversaries and church anniversaries and all that type of stuff. I'm like, first of all, that's the opposite of being spiritual. That's ego. Because, this don't happen just to the large mega churches. This goes on in small churches too. And my thing is, some people probably say it's tradition. The pastor and the wife probably say, oh, it's tradition. I'm like, dude, instead of worrying about me giving to you and using my money that I don't have, like it's Christmas Day for y'all, to give to y'all the birthdays, the this and that and the other. I'm like, fuck my birthday. Don't do nothing for my birthday. What I'd rather for y'all to do is go out and help your community, help your family, do whatever you can. Don't worry about whether or not you're giving me some gifts just because it's my anniversary. And that's how a lot of narcissists, I mean, you will see a lot of people who dealing drugs in their community and all that stuff, get out of prison, got a felony, can't get a job, and they like, well, hell, I need to hustle. So guess what? They probably open up a church. They like, dude, I remember the times when they probably looking in the stars like, damn, I remember that when I was going to church as a kid, the pastor was getting all this money. The pastor's wife getting money and stuff, and help. I'm gonna do that. And I got a good talk game. I can talk my shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And next thing you know, hello, I got a church. Welcome. I was called. I'm like, dude, it don't happen like that. So I would say that's ego, because my daughter, she was like kind of feeling guilty because I gave her gifts for Christmas. She knew that she was kind of acting like a little brat during certain periods of time. And then I told her, no, you know, you deserve it, blah, 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 you know, because she's doing a whole lot better. And I'm like, I like to give. I'm like, dude, I don't need no gifts. And then if I want to buy myself some shit, I can give myself some shit anyway. So I'm like, girl, you're good. You know, so I don't put myself in that situation like, okay, it's do for me and I do for you. And if you don't do for me, I use it as, I give gifts as an insurance to, you know, make sure you give me something later on when I need it. I'm like, no, it's not, it don't work like that. And also, what's so funny, a lot of these pastors, they would do that, have all these anniversaries, birthdays, but oh my God, when you need some help, you behind on rent, on all this type of stuff. Mind you, a lot of these pastors, I'm gonna speak on the mega churches, mind you, or just a big church in general, they having millions of dollars coming in every single Sunday or whatever. I ain't even gonna say that, because I even audited a church when I was a senior accountant. They still would get donations and stuff just to help fund different type of drives and things like that. So they still getting money every single day of the week. And I'm like, so now I need some help. Maybe I need help on a light bill. Maybe I need, or anybody else need help with that. First of all, you have to call and schedule an appointment. And then you make it to that appointment, and then they will give you a whole sermon. Well, the Lord loves to help. The Lord loves you. You the child of the Lord. Da 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 da. And then finally after, I'm like, another way of going around the bush just to say, hey, I'm not gonna be able to give you no money. I would just give you a prayer. You mean pray for you? I'm like, hell no, don't touch my head. So I'm like, so basically, you want me to give you money every time I come to that church, but yet at the same time, if I need help from you, you don't have it for me. Kind of like the government, but that's another story. So I'm like, no. So, and don't sit here and think I'm the only one that's experiencing that. It's a lot. It's every day, year after year, for a whole lot of people. And then that's the case. Why are so many homeless people out here? I know there are homeless people that are going through their karma, probably like my ex-husband. And there are people, but some people actually lost their jobs, probably had a layoff or something like that. And then another thing, some church people or most church people would say is, cause they might not say it in front of the person that's going through a lot of stuff, but especially if they are toxic or narcissistic or both, because narcissism, you're going to be toxic. Everybody who's toxic is not going to be narcissist. They're gonna be like, well, that person probably going through because they probably had sinned and they not living like godly, and they probably didn't truly accept God as their savior. And to me, that is so demonic, in my opinion. So that's another thing. Okay, number 3, confusion. What they say, the such and such is the author of confusion and whatever, chaos and other stuff. To me, I feel like it is confusing. Spirituality isn't confusing at all. It is not. And if you're really spiritual, first of all, a lot of times churches will discourage you from getting counseling and stuff. As a spiritualist, there are some spiritualists out there that basically, I would say especially older ones, that's probably in the boomer generation and the older Gen Xs, they probably will discourage going to counseling and things like that. I would say use whatever you can to help yourself. If counseling is not hurting you, but it's there to help you, use it. I feel like counseling was a stepping stone for me, for my healing process and for my spiritual awakening. So I would say go to counseling. There's nothing wrong with counseling. I would say a lot of narcissists, and there's a lot of narcissistic pastors They don't want you to go to counseling. If you do go to counseling, they will tell you to go see them to counsel, for them to go to talk about you in some non-direct way, passive-aggressive way in church the next Sunday. So they just know all your business just to spill it or inspire them for a next church service. Like that gonna make you feel good if you spilled your heart out to the pastor. So I would say go to counseling, go to real professionals who understand the brain and understand what boundaries are, because I will tell you one thing: once you have boundaries, that toxic family will hate you even more. Hell, I would say in church, because the church I went to as a kid, the pastor didn't even want you to even go out of town. You couldn't go if you wanted to go visit another church that Sunday, or you didn't want to go to church. It was like you need the pastor's permission, and you just know. You basically, if you're doing something else outside of church, then you ain't godly enough. So if you wanted to go on vacation from your hillish job and spend time going on a cruise or going, unless you don't got the money to go because you're giving it all to the pastor in the church. But if you're lucky enough that you got enough money saved up to go on a cruise or go on a vacation, go on a road trip or whatever, then it was like discouraged. Sorry, you can't do that. But once you got those boundaries, the pastor will hate you, even though they're gonna show look. They like, no, bitch. They ain't gonna like you, and they probably gonna talk about you in church in a next Sunday service after you come back from your vacation. And more than likely, you won't go on vacation. I'm sorry. Spirituality, we put ourselves first because we understand, and that's what they teach you in counseling too. Put yourself first. Then when you put yourself first, that's with boundaries. That's how you love yourself, putting boundaries against bullshit, or just putting boundaries against other things. And also showing self-care, because once you start doing it and feeling good about yourself, they're going to reflect on how you raise your kids. If you in a relationship with somebody, that's how it's going to reflect in your relationships. And if you in a relationship that somebody is like not doing you any good, you'll easily like kick them to the side, to the left. And I would say, I would go as far as, if you're single and you have boundaries and you love yourself and you got boundaries and show self-care, you're going to probably think once, twice, 10th to the 10th power that you may not want to be in some type of serious relationship, because you don't want nobody disturbing your peace. But that's one thing I noticed about church. They don't really respect boundaries. They don't teach boundaries. In toxic families, they don't. It's like, boundaries, what boundaries? There's no such thing as boundaries. You know, they will talk about you, and the narcissistic ringleader think they can stalk you. They think they can monitor you and all this other type of stuff. They think that because they paid for some diapers to put on your ass when you was a kid, and gave you a roof that they were living under too, and they fed your behind just like they fed the same food they gave to you. They think that you owe them something just because. I'm like, dude, you weren't birthed me here. You know, you was the one that was obligated to take care of me as a kid. But at the same time, just because you fed me the same food that you was feeding me, and you was sitting there abusing me at the same time, don't mean that I owe you something now that I'm a grown person. Hell, you think I want you to be in my house? I got my peace and tranquility, and I'm gonna put you in my house and basically have you run them up to the point I have to be like Yosemite Sam and get you up out of there? No, thank you. So it's like boundaries. I ain't gonna sit here and say all churches are the same as the church that I was growing up, you know, but I feel like there's a lot of churches that's just a sample. So if you have a church that's respect boundaries, they not all up in your business and things of that nature, then that's good. Another thing is control. I know some churches, I ain't gonna sit here and say which, because I don't know which, but some churches, it has to be true, because this rumor keeps coming out about, okay, well, if you join our church, then you paying tithes. You know you paying. I'm just thinking about the manipulation they probably doing. How do I know that you paying 10%? You saying you're paying this 10% tithe, but then you put in $40 in that mug. So you saying you making. So you put $40 in a week. So you saying you're making $400? Oh, I know, sister. I know, Sister Bennett, that you're making more than that. So we gotta know how much you're making in order to make sure that you're paying make sure that you're paying the 10%. Or if you're not sure how, we're gonna help you how to pay that 10%. So you gotta tell us how much you're making on your job. I'm like, hold on. First of all, I don't tell my mom. If my mom was living, she wouldn't know how much I make. And my mom probably would have asked. I'll be like, I'll tell her I don't know. No, that's nobody's damn business how much I'm making. I'm talking from a single person who's not married. If I was married, I will, yeah, and that person living with me, yeah, you don't know how much I make. If you was a boyfriend, you won't know how much I'm making. My kids, you ain't gonna, if you think I'm broke, I'm broke. That's how it is. And I'd rather for you to think I'm broke, because I ain't trying to go ahead and hear y'all calls every other quarter of the year talking about how much money you need to pay for your bills. I'm like, think I'm broke so you can leave me alone. So you think if family don't know, I'm not gonna tell you, a stranger I'm not feeding you, you're not dependent on mine. And if I need your help, I more than likely you ain't gonna help me. I'm not gonna tell you how much I'm making. And I'm that one, if I was going to church, I'd probably tell you I am making $400 a week. I was straight up lie. But then again, when I had 1 foot in and 1 foot out, I was like, they had that tithe plate. That tithe plate was passed from my hand to the next, swiftly, expeditiously, because I wasn't paying tithes. I'm like, dude, first of all, you don't know, and they talk about God. I'm like, first of all, God is the creator of everything. And why do I need, that's, to me, it's like narcissistic. I'm like, dude, that people better really start thinking about who their God is. I put it that way. So I'm like, you ain't gonna control me and tell me how much. If I had a boyfriend or whoever, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, I'm like, you ain't gonna know how much, because first of all, if you're not paying my mortgage, if you're not paying no car notes on a regular basis, not putting food on the table or anything, you ain't gonna know how much I'm making just so I can pay 10% a tithe. I'm like, that 10% could go into my savings. But anyways, another thing I just thought about, when it comes to see, and it slipped my mind. That's why I should be writing this stuff down. Staying in abusive relationships. That's another thing, because God says He dishonors divorce. He hates divorce. Well, I hate him too. That's why I won't get married. Because I hate divorces, because if I had some money and I married somebody who said that they were this and they weren't that, or they were lazy continuously, and I end up becoming more and more successful, I'm gonna divorce your ass. But I would hate it if I had to pay alimony. But as far as divorce, trying to keep you in a freaking marriage that's toxic, and and then when you get some type of cancer or something, well, let's pray for you. I'm like, hell, now what you should have been doing was not discouraging me to stay with somebody, because I stayed with this person, they end up causing me to have cancer, causing me to have all this inflammation. I went from a beautiful woman to somebody who had a whole bunch of wrinkles, gained so much weight because of all the inflammation, hair coming out, skin dry, barely can dress how I want to, barely can have time to get my nails done. And if I did get my nails done, it's like dressing up a pig, because at the end of the day, I'm not healthy. I'm just with this person who got me sick It's not even worth it. And I'm like, then on top of that, they say, honor your body. Don't put all these toxins in your body. But at the same time, stay with somebody who's going to cause a whole bunch of inflammation to end up causing you to die early, premature death. All for the sake of God. I'm like, they're like, no. If you really truly love yourself, first of all, if you're not in a relationship, you're not going to deal with somebody who's going to basically have you to overstep your boundaries, or you're not going to deal with somebody that's ready to cross your boundaries, and you're not going to deal with somebody that's doing everything against what you think is right. I'm sorry. When I was growing up in a toxic family, I didn't like my ass getting beat. So you think I'm going to have some man come to my own house beating my ass? Hell no. Before I know it, I might get my pew out of my safe. And he better I'm going to count to 3 before it's going to be going on and popping up in there. But it won't even go there because I won't even be with nobody like that. Anyway, I'm like, dude, I'm not desperate. It's like, dude, I'm not even looking for no man. I don't know. If I do that thing, if I do have a online profile to date, that thing probably be so dusty, pictures probably be so old on there. But I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna stay with nobody. And if you are with somebody like that, you better find you some type of exit strategy to get up out of there, like your life depends on it. Because I'm sorry, I love myself, and I'm not gonna sit here and take care of and raise 2 girls, and then they go on off to college or whatever and live their life, and then I'm going to sit here and get with somebody that's going to be another grown-ass dependent. And then they ready to have the audacity to try to hurt me. I'm like, oh, hell no. I'll have to come to my house and try to hurt me and try to slide up in there. I'm like, nah, you're going to be sliding on back up out of here. So I would say that most churches say that. I'm like, dude, God, I'm not even sure if that's in the Bible or not. I'm like, girl, man, if you really love yourself, and I'm gonna be the one. Some people be like beating around the bush and be like, oh, well, I don't want to tell you that you might want to leave your husband because work it out. I'm like, no, girl, you're an individual person. No, man, you're an individual person. If this man doing you dirty, whatever, you can like, oh, I want to work out. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be carrying around a dead carcass of a dead marriage. I'll be like, it's time for you to go. I'm leaving, bye. And if it's my house and your name ain't on it, and I'm paying for bills and stuff, because there's some dusties out there that have their wives living like single providers or submissive providers. I'm like, dude, you better get up out my house. And I will say, I'm gonna put you up on some game. If that person was abusive or whatever, and you ain't did nothing, boy, before you even leave, I know you probably scared, but you better call that police. Oh, that person hurting me. 911, 911, 911, 911. Oh, then before you do all that, you better I would suggest to call a domestic violence hotline or something, because people don't understand how to, that social media, whatever I say on social media, is not black and white. It's like everything depends on each person's circumstance. So I would say call a domestic violence hotline. But I would say one thing, you better get some documents. And another thing, people say, people think that you can get a restraining order and that's it. Like that restraining order is your protection. First of all, it's not your protection, but one thing, it's some documentation, baby. You better have that. You better get your fucking restraining order. And then I would say one thing, because a lot of people don't say none of this stuff. I'm like, this is a dangerous ass world. Men don't want to be around other men. Men are scared of other men. So you think I'm a woman not going to be scared of another man? Hell, I'm going to be scared. I don't care who you are. So I will say one thing. You better get your restraining order. You better have police. I will call that police. Them police will know my name if I have to call them so many times before I have to leave that fucking place. So I will do that. So and then I will go ahead and get you some security. If you don't have it, get you a fucking security system with some fucking videos cameras out there, so it can monitor your house 24/7. So somebody try to creep up or whatever, try to hide behind a bush, that camera will alert you on your phone or wherever you at, on whatever device. Oh, this person, 911. Somebody's sneaking around my house. And if that person was your ex, that's like a violation on your restraining order. That person can go to jail. And if you know, I don't care if this person, you know whether or not they have a gun or not. They crazy. They're all of them crazy. If you crazy enough to try to fight me, crazy enough to talk crazy to me, crazy enough to do all this, crazy enough to stalk me, you crazy enough to hurt me or kill me or whatever. So I'm going to say you better get you some protection, period. I know a lot of women out there are scared. I'm scared. What you scared for? You're the only one controlling it. Get you, if you have kids, get you a freaking safe. One of those high security type of safes. So nobody can't just up and go in there. That's going to be your security. That's going to be your insurance. So get that. Learn how to fight. Learn how to, being feminine don't mean I got to have my nails. I got to have my dress. I got to be long length of hair. No. Being feminine is learning how to take care of yourself and love yourself. Point blank, period. No matter how you dress, no matter how you look, or whatever. It's not about being masculine. It's the only people that can protect themselves are men. But yet, women are the most vulnerable. Make it make sense. So I will say you better get you some protection. You better learn how to fight. You better learn how to learn how to if you have to go to a school, you better go to a school and learn how to do some self-defense moves. If you was in the military, you better brush out and dust off that learning you used and practice those self-defense moves. You better get you some protection, get you some steel, and you have to if you're going to work and you know this motherfucker, is stalking you, you better have it there. Be like, Lord is against death. I'm like, look at all the deaths the Lord created in the Bible. Damn, people will mind their own business in some of them stories. And next thing you know, the people that supposedly the people that were listening to the Lord was like, okay, well, we want you to go to this land and that's made of milk and honey. And I want you to take their kids, take their wives, take their husband, and all that stuff. And they over there on the other side, they over here like, hide your wife, hide your kids, and hide your husbands. So other words, hey, I think the Lord don't care. So if you love yourself, you better protect yourself. And the reason why I say that, just in case that person come up on you and got a gun or whatever, first, I'm sorry, but you can, if they don't have a gun or whatever, you can use something, they ready to fight. You know how to use some self-defense moves. Hey, look at fucking, what's that man's name in the karate movie? He wasn't no 6'10", 300-pound man doing karate moves on people and winning. These people be little. So that ought to tell you, let me see. I'm like, me, for example, I'm 5'7", I'm 165. I'm 163. I'm losing weight now. Maybe I can take down somebody and barely have a sweat. So all I'm saying is, you better do something. Better learn, kick them in the groin, poke them in the eye, whatever, chin them, do something, hit them. You can do whatever you can. Boy, I can teach you some moves if I need to. You better do that. And if that person have a gun, you already have one on your hip. And hey, just like Rihanna said, man down. I guess that's what it's gonna be. Sorry to that man's mama, because you raised a demon. So I'm sorry, I went off a tangent. So all I'm saying is, and then if you have to do that, then guess what? You have those 911 calls, you have that restraining order. So if you have to protect yourself in that type of way, guess what? You don't have to worry about going to prison. Because people like right now, they over here it's a lot of women who are in prison today, because, not saying they shouldn't be in prison, because we got a fucked up judicial system. And it's like, hey, we live in a patriarchy. These women are in jail because of abusive men. So I'm just gonna put you on game. You better start doing stuff like that. And if you listen to my video, you better just put it in your memory and start doing stuff like that. Because I'm gonna put it this way: people change if they want to. That's another thing. Staying in a marriage, abusive marriage, or unhappy marriage. Prayer. First of all, how you gonna have free will, but then you think your prayer is gonna change somebody that's under that same free will? Are you putting down what I'm dropping? Are you picking up what I'm dropping? So, other words, you ain't gonna change nobody. You can pray, Lord, 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 and hoping those prayers get somewhere. And by this person still violating you and all this type of stuff. I'm like, no, you better think about yourself. That's another thing. It's like, if you think about yourself and love yourself, that's like a sin in church. No, it's not. You're supposed to love yourself. You ain't meant to be on this earth to slave and then hope to die soon so you can go to a land of milk and honey and probably live in the same land where these people who said, Lord, forgive me too, that they didn't learn nothing. It's like, make it make sense. It's time to start using some logic. So I would say, hey, protect yourself, love yourself, and be selfish. If you think it's loving yourself, taking time for yourself, is selfish, then so be it. Be selfish, bitch. So anyways, what's another thing? I might have to make a part 2 because this is getting long. What's another thing? They child force them. Another thing. If you ain't going to church and you don't have. First of all, if you're single, they already looking at you crazy. Like, they already looking at you crazy. Why are you single? You don't got no man. So they basically depend on outside validation. First of all, that's the worst thing you can do. Look at this world right now. Look how crazy this world is. So you're telling me if I don't have a whole lot of validation from a whole lot of crazy people, then something must be wrong with me? No, you're supposed to have validation within yourself. Once you have validation within yourself, start taking care of yourself, start loving yourself, and then once you become spiritual and things of that nature, then you start relying more on the things within you than outside, whether depending on what the pastor say, his wife says, other people that's supposed to be better than you in church, what they say. I'm like, no, I'm validate myself, okay? I validate myself. So that's what you're supposed to do. Learn how to validate yourself. If you don't got a lot of friends, so what? If your family ain't perfect to the point you can't have a peaceful holiday dinner or get together, so what? You don't have to be with them. Just because religion and media and culture say you have to be with them, I'm sorry, I'm anti-culture, I guess. You don't have to be with them. And you can have a lovely Christmas by yourself. You might save some money. You might be peaceful. And then you probably dust off Facebook and look and see, oh, Lord, this person, oh, God. And go about your business. So if people look at you like, oh, I'm not popular, this and that, so what? That don't mean something wrong with you because you're not popular. Look at the world right now. Look at people got hang-ups. People are broke. Whether it's broken financially or broken inside, all this type of stuff. That don't mean that, because, this world is crazy. So you don't got a whole bunch of crazy friends, something wrong with you? Okay. So don't listen to that. You're supposed to be validated inside. Validate yourself. So, yeah, that's some of the things that I can really think of right now. And I'm like, dude, I would say this, because at the end of the day, people especially in 2025, you're gonna be disappointed. The people who still like very into the dogma and all this stuff, they're gonna be the ones that are gonna be left behind. I'm sorry, they're gonna be left behind because they thinking Jesus coming. I'm like, and praying. Some people even so fanatic, they wishing and can't wait for Antichrist to come. I'm like, no, bitch, the Antichrist is you. It is. In the spiritual community, that's you, the Antichrist. the narcissists, the ones who basically don't care about other people's death, wars or whatever, because they feel like that's that was meant to be and all that other type of stuff. No, you're the Antichrist. And the Christ is basically, if you read the Bible in code, because it's really all in code and things of that nature, astrology and all that type of stuff, you're gonna realize basically when they say like Jesus is coming back, Christ is coming back, what they really saying is it's gonna be the Piscean age is moving away, the Aquarius age is coming. The Piscean age, Pisces, basically means, you basically, if I say Pisces, it's an age of delusion, being easily deceived, being easily deceptive. Lies are basically the truth, or the truth is the truth, and the truth is the lie. You know, being delusional, and all that. I mean, you can look, TV, radio, all that type of stuff. Confusion. Now, the Aquarius age is like, look, we got those lies, the systems that perpetrated those lies and confusion and delusions, those systems about to be rocked and about to be getting rid of. If you're still living in delusion, you better start getting out of it, because hey, at the end of the day, like I mentioned, in religion and whatever, I'm not gonna get too much into it. So basically, the age of Aquarius is when the truth's coming out. People gonna start realizing it. People gonna start fighting for their rights, more than likely, especially if they're still in this 3D system. People like the Diddy's and the Jay-Z's and other people, they scaring away, but it's like the systems are crumbling, and London Bridge is falling down. So that's what's going on. And some people just, and when I say Christ, basically, it's basically saying the Christ light, the Christ crystalline, whatever, involved the pineal gland. People's pineal gland gonna start getting activated. Some people's are still crystallized, you know, because they still eating this shit from McDonald's, from, you know, eating crappy, still using fluoride, because that's another part of a lie. I know people that brushing their teeth and they teeth still looking all rotten and stink. I'm like, what did that fluoride do? All that type of stuff. So once that pineal gland start becoming activated, you start become more psychic and things of that nature. You start your intuition, all certain degrees or whatever, gonna start becoming more stronger. Some people, I was always able to read people. That became so strong to the point I can't even work around. It's like whatever. So that's what's going on. That's what's happening. That's what they mean when they say Christ coming back. It's mainly the Christ energy. When you really study Yeshua, because he did exist, not the character based on him, but the actual person. He was basically a spiritual guru. You know, he traveled and did all this other stuff throughout Egypt, throughout that whole area back in the days, and learn about spirituality and things of that nature. So that's who he was, and he basically was like, dude, y'all gonna do far more greater things than I did, you know. So that's what's going on right now. So people are gonna be left behind, you know. Whether, I don't care if you know what religion you have, or whether you're not religious but you don't believe in no spiritual, you're not spiritual, but still relying on these systems. I'm like, and I'm gonna have a video basically talking about how to prepare yourself, because honestly, having tens of thousands of people working under 20 people and those 20 people or 100 people are making like millions of dollars, while the people that's working under them, those tens of thousands of people making like minimum wage, and I guess the ones who's middle management making some money, but it's way, way below what the that top 20% is making, and all of them are stressed. No matter what, if you're the janitor to middle management to upper management, you all still stressed the fuck out. I'm just gonna advise you. I know it's gonna be hard if you're still in church. I'm gonna say, okay, it's cool. You can still be in church, but you better start having some boundaries. You better start being open-minded to start studying and looking at other different things, because before you realize it, you're probably gonna end up being like, and you're not gonna go to hell. I don't believe in hell. And another thing, just like people not gonna say it or not, but I'm gonna say that a lot of church Christians are they fearful because they got this hell that they trying to avoid going to. I don't fear dying. I really don't. Only reason I don't want to die now because I got a young kid that I'm raising, and I be damn my house on my sister's raising them, because I will hunt their asses if they try to hurt my child. If some Lord, if some, I'm used to saying it. Lord forbid that something happened to me, I'm gonna hunt your ass. But I'm like, so I got a daughter to take care of. Whatever. If I didn't have no kids, I'd be like, dude, if I die, I die. Cremate my ass and let me go. But a lot of people in church, they scared. They like, I don't want to go to hell. I made a mistake yesterday. I said something to Judy that hurt her feelings. Lord, don't let me go to hell. I'm like, dude, I'm over here like eating my popcorn. I'm like, I'm thriving. I'm not scared at all, because I know what will happen after I die. Hell, I'm trying not to get reincarnated back on this earth. If I do get reincarnated, I'd rather be reincarnated during the golden age when things are more better and happier. But but if the world going to shambles, I'm like, please don't let me be reincarnated to bring some light and shine into this darker world than what it is right now. No. I'm trying to learn right now, because that's a reason for I'm here, and I'm trying to come back to this earth. But anyways, but I would say, even like I was saying, if you going to church or whatever, you still scared to go to church, to leave church or whatever, I would just say start doing some deep dives into, start using critical thinking skills. Like, why in the world women are, if you're a woman, why are women, even if you're a man, why are women are oppressed in church? We are oppressed. We can't, it's like they basically telling women, sit your ass down at the table and eat your cake. You don't got nothing worthwhile to tell us, because the Eve story, which is totally something totally different. But anyways, I mean, just ask yourself that question. And then once you get farther and farther away, because like that woman people are probably listening to me right now, like, and probably go in my comments, don't listen to her, she's trying to send you to hell. I'm like, dude, I'll be like, those are the ones that are going to be left behind. They stuck, they done, they in that dogma. I feel so sorry for them. Because before you know it, when you become more healthier, and next thing you know, you realize that, yes, there's a creator out here, but at the same time, it's not the person that I'm worshiping. Because why do I have to worship my daddy? Think about that. Why do I have to worship my daddy? I'm a mama. I don't need no worshiping from my kids. It's forced worship, mind you. If I did right by my kids, whether they can sit here and say I'm gonna do for my parents, some kids, you do right by them and they say fuck you still, and don't want nothing to do with you. But at the end of the day, those are my kids, and I love them and want the best for them. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, you didn't say I was your Lord and Savior or whatever. You going to hell. I'm like, you got some murderers out there who they sit there and like, I murdered all these people, and if so, because I think a lot of them psychopaths, they don't give a damn. But what if they say, okay, well, I'm a Lord, I want to go to heaven, Lord forgive me, they go to heaven. But somebody like me and others who are doing great for the community, have a good heart and all that, we just gonna go to hell? That's like a narcissistic father to me, but that's another story. But anyways, I'm gonna get off of here. I went to the gym. I need to shower and clean myself, run these couple of errands. I go on vacation next week for my birthday. I am so excited going to Nashville. So you might get some videos, snippets about my vacation. and I'm gonna go back to work. I might work a little bit this week before I leave, but yeah, I'm going on vacation, bitches. I'll talk to you later. I hope you have a great New Year's, a great holidays or whatever. I hope you do great. Listen to what I say. Don't just listen to me, listen to other people too, similar to me. And I will talk to you later. Bye.